on this dirt, boys. This is viable cargo.
That whole square section was full initially. When that's full, there's 20 cords in there. This year we're probably looking at burning close to 25 cords if we make 900 to 1,000 gallons of syrup. So we use a chainsaw to cut that, but that's all split. This device right here. Every single piece of wood was split with this maul and this handle. Every other year or so, I swing around the breaking handle. Mixture of soft and hard wood, smaller pieces that I can throw back in there. So I close the grates.
Swing around, look at that.
So I'm going to throw this over this fire all the way to the back. And then we feed the bonfire.
Explain the door.
The door's got air holes in it as well.
Airtight.
Airtight, and it's got air jets in it. And so we have a control for the door, the amount of air coming out the door. This is right under the grates, and this is the back. There's jets coming to the backfire. So generally we keep both of these open all the way. And what that does is it just turbulates the gases, goes into gasification, so we're burning everything completely. There's nothing going up the chimney. It makes the fire blaze, but it also pushes it up the chimney, so you want to back that off as much as possible to get the maximum efficiency out of the wood. So we try to, right now you can see the temperature's up to 1,450 degrees, and it's still climbing because we just fed. So what we do is I crank in this one a little bit. We're hitting 1,500. So that's the sap from approximately 1,600 taps up the sugar bush. Today at 3.2 or 3.5.
Higher sugar content we've learned.
It's around 26, 27 gallons.
That's really good ratio.
In a normal season, we're running around 2%, which is about 42 gallons of sap to make a gallon. It's probably coming in at a little over 100 gallons an hour right now. So if you look over here,
come on, take a look at this pump.
That's the vacuum pump. It's an old surge, oil-cooled dairy pump, which was in one other sugaring operation before it came to this one.
The moisture trap?
Yeah, the sap gets sucked into there, and that moisture trap will shut off the pump. It'll lift the valve and it'll shut the pump off. And then this here is the release. And they call it a release because this is where the vacuum lines go up to the sugar bush. This is the wet line. This is that dry line. And this dry line goes up to a booster tank in the woods just to transfer the vacuum. Because if the wet line fills up with sap, it can't transfer the vacuum. So this dry line allows it to get to that point and maintain the same vacuum. And we have a float. And once this fills up to about 10 gallons of sap, the float will turn on this switch, which then activates this release pump. And this release pump has to pull the sap out of the vacuum system. When this pump goes on, it forces it through, pulling against. There it goes. You can see it here as it goes down. And once the float gets down to a certain level, the pump will go off again. So in that 11 or 12 seconds, the pump pumped about 10 gallons of sap out of this release up to the storage tank upstairs. Our gathering tanks. These are each one of these holds 1,500 gallons. You can see this morning we started out with our sap up this top mark. That was probably just over 1,000 gallons of this tank. So as soon as we started boiling, we switched tanks and we started to gather the stuff that's coming in now in this tank.
This thing coming up from the pump house then?
Yep, this comes up from that release. Yep. So here's the 2 lines that go up to the sugar bush.
Here, can you see them?
One of them is the wet line that the sap's coming down, and the other one is the dry line that's transporting the vacuum up to a booster tank. And the booster tank's about a quarter mile up from here. So the sugar bush is actually up at the top of a little hill, that hill up there, which is about 2,000 feet in elevation. This season, if you were to sugar about 2,000 feet, everything happens all at once. So you're going to have your sugaring, your 3 weeks of sugaring all in 1 week. So you're going to gather faster, sugar faster.
All in 1 week.
Yeah.
Not much rest.
Yeah, so. Surface area of the food pan that heats up and makes the sap boil faster. That's why it jumps so high in there, like boiling, because it's actually got all of this heat running up along the side of the food and it's making the sap jump.
All right, okay.
Yeah, so much surface area. So when you see this water dripping off, those are the troughs where the sap is sitting at the top. So from here down to here, it's all the steam heat. The fan is blowing the steam through these tubes that are in that trough. It's a little hard to understand because it took me a while to even figure out what's going on here.
You got a pump up here.
So that's just a fluid cage. It's got 1 horsepower fluid cage. And it's blowing air into this chamber here, then forcing the steam up through the pipes, aerating the sap. Because our stack temperature used to be about 1,000. Now it's down to about 600 because we have 14 staying under the arch, less heat going up the chimney. Like I did a smaller carbon footprint, not as much stuff going out.
Less carbon footprint. Perfect. What's it called?
Niter?
Niter.
Yeah.
You make niter pie or cake?
The kids do.
The kids do they really?
Yeah.
You
Like
don't usually eat it.
instead of fruit, it's maple niter.
I mean, it's just like grainy, sandy,
Ice.
mineral deposits. See, this deposits in here, the sugar sand.
When was this taken off?
This morning, before we started boiling,
Oh.
so it was in here for the last boil. You get some scale. This actually isn't too bad.
What's it doing over here?
That's coming from the back pan, dropping into there, and this is limiting the amount going in. See how I push this down? See it comes out faster?
Right.
Push it down, you get more sap, more concentrate coming out. And that puts more in the front pan, so it fills it up more. And this one I basically have to run all the way down. Sometimes I just have to drop it down because this concentrates it so much, it gets so much sugar that if it floats too high, it doesn't allow enough to come in, so my level starts to drop. If you look in here, you can see that it's boiling in that food pan. This is actually the raw sap coming in. So this, it comes out of the float box, and there's
It's out of the float box.
Yep, there's 4 different sections here,
Okay.
and it gradually gets closer to syrup.
Okay, start here and work.
So if you look at this first section, you kind of see it's going to be a little bit more watery. There's still a lot of water comes in. As you get over here, the bubbles get bigger, so that it gets thicker, more viscous, and the bubbles kind of grow up a little bit. But basically, when we draw syrup, we're drawing off about half last 3/4 of this section. This is how close the syrup I'm going to draw, pulling this off, and then everything progressively forward.
Explain that again.
Dip
Yeah.
their ladle in, and you can see how as it cools, it's starting to thicken up. I mean, it's a little ways away from syrup right now, so it's getting good.
But then I'm also keep in mind the hydrometer. That's what I'm really looking for.
Oh, I see.
That's the main game. This is just sort of like a rough estimate. The hydrometer is
The more solids that are in there, the higher this floats. So, if syrup is coming out the arch, I think 211 degrees higher, it should float at this red mark for the density you want at 59 degrees of Brix. Well, we can start using all that. And again, our first draws are going to be a little bit darker because the stuff's been sitting in the pan. It's slow heat cooling it down and then slow heat bringing it back up, so it's a little more caramelized.
That's the first one we left.
This is the first one this season. Yeah. So you can see it's doing a little darker, starting to.
We are at Zeffy Zees. Here's the phone number.